Hey guys, so my name is Kayson and we're going to be going over today how to build the Mesa Rustler style car. So you're just going to need a few things. You're going to either need to download and laser cut the chassis or buy this from us, as well as print or buy from us the rear suspension piece and the front suspension piece. So a few tools you're going to need is a 4.0 screwdriver as well as a 2.0 hex screwdriver, and sometimes I just like to mount either one of them on a drill so it can go a little bit faster. And last thing you're going to need is a glue gun. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so for the first thing is for the chassis. To glue the two parts together you can either use hot glue, epoxy, or wood glue. Right now I'm just going to use some wood glue because it's nice and fast and easy to use. So the main thing is you're going to want to work kind of fast. You can start around the back. Just kind of follow the outer part of the chassis. Then you're going to take your top part and just line it up and put it down. So you're going to want to make sure it's well lined up so that all your screw holes and everything align so you can get the screws in there. Right, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, so the next step is you're going to flip your chassis over, and in the kit you'll receive 3 supports. There's going to be 2 short ones and 1 long one, and so the short ones are going to be on the side and your long one's going to be straight down the middle. So in these little cavities you're just going to fill them with hot glue, and then a bead of glue all the way down, and then fill the other one. Just going to take your support and stick it in. Make sure it's nice and straight. Kind of hold it there so it gets set. Okay, now we'll do the middle one. And now the outer left one. So one thing I like to do just to make it a little more solid is just to run a bead of glue along the seam of the wood, and then just run my finger along down it. This just kind of reinforces the glue and make sure that none of your it holds it together. Okay, so that's your chassis, and now we can go on to the next steps. So the first thing we're going to do is now we're just going to mount the front suspension piece. For this you're going to want to stay away from tightly threaded screws that you'd usually use in most areas of the car. Because the threads are so small, it'll sometimes rip out of the 3D. So you're going to want to use something a little bit bigger teeth, and that will grab into the plastic a little bit better. So I usually like to just start them in by hand and just kind of push the screws through, and then line them up with the small holes, and then just screw them in. You can do this with a drill. You're going to want to be careful to not strip it out. I like to do it by hand just to make sure that they're getting set in there enough, but not too tight to either crack the wood or the plastic. So you're just going to do this for the 2 back holes too. Okay, so now we have the front suspension piece mounted onto our chassis. Okay, so the next step is we're just going to put on the gearbox. We recommend a Traxxas gearbox and a Titan 12T motor. We like to purchase it from Dollar Hobbies. It's super cheap, and we just buy it with the motor and the gearbox already set. So for this, you're just going to need 4 1/2-inch M6 screws with a 2.5 hex on them. So I did lie, we're going to need a 2.5 hex screwdriver. So basically same concept as the front. I'm just going to thread the screws in. And this process is a lot quicker with the drill. And you can set all 4. I like to set all 4 before I put the gearbox on. Okay, so now we're just going to grab the gearbox. We're just going to line up the holes. And screw them in. You don't want to be really careful at the end so you don't crack your wood or strip out your screws. Okay, so now that the gearbox is on, we can go on to mounting our rear suspension. So now that we have our gearbox on, we can go on to mounting our rear suspension piece. For this, we're just going to use the short wood screws again. So what I like to do is I just like to, there's 2 small holes back here. I'm just going to preset the screws in. And you're just going to line them up with the holes on your gearbox and screw them in. So once you have that done, we can go on to locking it down with the front ones. Just in case you didn't want to use this piece, I didn't put holes in the chassis, so we're just going to go ahead and put some presets in right now. And for the other side. Now your screws should go in nice and easy. We're going to use a little bit shorter wood screws, same thread and everything though, and we're just going to put them in. Okay, so now we have the rear suspension piece also locked down along with the gearbox and the front suspension piece. Now that you have your front and rear suspension on, we're going to go on to mounting our servo. So we're just going to thread the wire down and through, and then place it in. So just with whatever servo, that's fine, but you just got to make sure that you're using the Stampede, just single steering. So now you're going to take 4 screws. I'm just gonna thread them in. Okay, so now we're ready to put your A-arms in there. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your A-arm. These are for Rustlers. Right now they're about 3.5 inches. The bolt's gonna be about 2.5 inches. I really like this length because it just works perfectly for the part. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna start to thread this in. If you use a drill, it's just going to go a lot faster. And once you get it poking through the other side, just going to put your A-arm in. You're going to want to notice that the holes for the shock are up front. If it's in the back, it's not going to work. It's going to make your shock all angled, so you're going to want them in the front. So you're just going to hold that there and then continue to thread the bolt in. So you're gonna notice if you use a Rustler A-arm, there's gonna be a lot of room. You can either put spacers in there, but once you put your turnbuckles and shocks on there, it's not gonna move at all. But I wanted to keep it big, so whatever A-arm you end up using can fit. You're gonna notice that we don't have a bolt on the back, but if you want to, you can use a longer bolt and then have a nut in the back. So, and then you're just gonna have to put on your other A-arms. There's gonna be one here, and then you're gonna have the rear ones connecting onto this. So that's all of it for the build video. Thanks for watching. I really hope this helps. You can download all these files and print them, and just remember to have fun while making them. And as always, take pictures of them, videos of them driving, and send them to us. We love to see all that kind of stuff. Remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.